Good afternoon, my people. Thank you for coming back and thank you for having patience. It's been a minute since I made a video in English, so this is an English video. And a shout out to Mr. Michael Locklear. I want to thank you for motivating me to do the video. I know I haven't done one in English in a minute. I haven't done that in Spanish in a minute as well. So, like I said, I make videos organically, how they come out, and they come out sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in English, whatever whatever flows, I go there. So anyway, this is appreciate again Michael Locklear, probably is the more pronunciation, Locklear. So I appreciate you, and again, this is the first translation of one of the videos I made in Spanish. I'm hoping to add some things here so that you guys can get more out of it. Obviously, I did that in Spanish, so I have more time now, a little bit more time to think about the topic and give you more information. We are going to talk about inbreeding, okay? Inbreeding, not line breeding. Line breeding is different, but inbreeding is the topic of tonight or this video. Now, before we go ahead and talk about the cons and pros of inbreeding, I want to point out, for example, I want to point out, clarify what inbreeding means. Okay, first, why do people inbreed? People inbreed to produce animals with certain physical and behavioral characteristics. Okay, they want to make sure or try to increase their chances that offspring traits, personality, and physical come out how they want it. That is basically how they produce different breeds of animals, different breed of dogs, as an example, by doing this type of this selective type of breeding. This is not natural selection. This is selective breeding. Okay. Now these for inbreeding, you have to make individuals that carry the desired traits you're looking for. Okay, that makes sense to you, right? So that way, offspring are more likely to carry the genes that you favor. The favor or that favor the traits you're looking for. Because remember, the genes are the ones that are making you do things, or animals are the ones that are characteristics, attributes, traits, personality traits. All that is driven by genes. And the different types of genes, the different variation of the gene are called alleles. I believe that is the correct pronunciation. Alleles. Ooh, that's not good. He's doing a poo-poo. I guess he wasn't empty. I thought he was empty. This is not the conversation, but I guess this is one of the reasons why you have to keep them empty them. But I thought he was empty, completely empty. But I guess not. But not the topic of conversation. But I should make sure, triple sure, that he wasn't. He didn't want to poop. Now I gotta pick it up over there. But luckily they eat raw meat, raw food. So everything is like dry and and like a little. It's like kibble, kind of, but a little thick, bigger kibble. Anyway, let's get back to inbreeding. Like I said, you're looking to the inbreeding. It's for you to increase increase the probability that you're going to get the desired traits by bringing mates that have those traits, so that you breed them together, being that they're the same family, and they are going to, or at least it's going. No. They're here. One thing, they're here. These are my puppies, but they're already with my family. No, he's trying to go behind it, and he's gonna go over here. But I tried to bring them back once in a while so that they can remember the trainings and remember how they're supposed to be. So these are really not here, but again, because they're from friends and family, I just tell them, hey, I'm gonna grab them so and so date, So they all have to come together and they'll spend some time together. I don't trust him with completely, especially because this one is already in the slap mill, so he might have gotten to like, oh, I want to go in there, I want to go, and might bite him just because he's just out of excitement. And him, his caritas. Let me show him caritas. I know this is not the point, the topic of conversation. Let me show him how his caritas faces, because he makes faces. Watch.
Oh
It's a boss man. It's no joke. It's no joke. That's why I have to be careful who I put him with. But anyway, let's go back to the conversation of inbreeding. Sorry about that. But I'm always sharing my life. So let's go back to the inbreeding part. Now, you might sound, from the description I gave you, it might sound like, whoa, inbreeding is great, we should all do it. But you have to be careful. You have to think about this. Genetic diversity is a good thing as well. Why is genetic diversity good? Well, because if your genetic diverse, if your the entity, the living being is diverse, they're able to cope with environmental changes. Okay, so but one that is inbred may now have all the selections, all the genes available to them turned on. The versions of the genes turned on for them to survive, as a natural example. So genetic diversity is very important. It's like, give you an example of genetic diversity. It's like when a baby is born, or when a baby is formed, any type of animal, it's giving two sets of fuses. One set of fuses is given by the mom, and again I'm using fuses instead of genes, and then the other fuses are from the dad. Okay, they're together, and some of those fuses from one or the other may be burned out. Let's call it burned out, but it's meaning burned out, meaning any negative action, any negative. Could be deafness. It could be limp. Kind of like physical deformity. It might have something genetic that actually shows up as a sickness, cancer, for example. But now the body or the living thing is actually saying, okay, this is bad. Let's look at the fuses from the dad and see what the dad's fuse looks like. And this is where the diversity comes in handy, rather. The dad might have that fuse, good. It might be a good fuse. So the body will use that fuse. No. However, when we inbreed, the sets of fuses of both sides are going to be more similar. Okay? More similar. They're going to be different, similar alleles. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know. That really will, so it's important that you keep that in mind. Keep aware that if you're inbreeding, to keep in mind that you might be, in both sides, you might be doing good for yourself and bad for yourself in the long run. So you have to keep in mind about that. Okay? Now, one last thing about inbreeding is that you can measure, inbreeding by the probability that the being is going to inherit, the same version of the gene. So you hear the word, and you should look into it. The word inbreeding coefficients. Okay, inbreeding coefficients is something that you should look into if you're going to think of breeding at some point in your life. Okay. Now, basically, the issue with inbreeding can be summed up in the issue of I'm trying to remember the term. It's called endogamic depression, I believe. Endogamic depression is basically the reduction of health in the animal. As an example, like cancer, the physical deformities, reduction in functionality, are all covered under the endogamic depression. Okay. Now, if done well, inbreeding can be done can be very successful, and I can mention, for example, the true and original old family, or old family red nose, are as more commonly known. Okay, those animals, the real old families. And for the sake of this video, instead of calling them old family, I'm gonna call them old family red nose. So because people know them more like that, even though they're not the same thing. So the old family from Ireland, those animals were highly inbred animals in that country. In those clusters, even though we consider them all the same strain, the old family red nose strain, those individuals that came with their animal did not see their old family red nose the same as another Irish man's old family red nose. Again, I'm using the term because that term is the most commonly used. Those individuals continue to inbreed. They basically inbred the genetic defects out of the animals. They kept continuing to inbreed and use the ones that worked until they all basically got rid of the genetics issues from inbreeding. Okay, because of the alleles that they chose, not because they were scientists, but because of all the genes have an expression, physical, health-wise characteristics. Traits that they show, and they continue to test these Irish people. And so, though the original, the true old family red nose, those animals were highly inbred, but did not have a genetic defect. Okay? But obviously, since we mentioned about the inbreeding, I'm going to quickly mention about the line breeding, which is inbreeding is basically inbreeding is first generation breeding, father to son, father to daughter, mother to son, brothers, and that is inbreeding. Line breeding is more into cousins, uncles, grandparents. One thing that I want to mention is the AKC, American Kennel Club, has forbidden the inbreeding of first generation inbreeding. Okay, so they do not want people to inbreed too closely anymore, because again, obviously, these show people are more looking to lock in a physical look or how they act. And so the AKC has decided that was not okay, or did decide that was not okay, and so now that is banned. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a little conversation about inbreeding. I personally believe in inbreeding with caution, with paying attention. Obviously, always looking to make sure that you're not breeding flow animals. Flow meaning genetically defective, and be conscious if you do, and do the right thing if you do. Anyway, this is Tony Montana. Until next time.